Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to take a look at some Audi Concept vehicles that were never mass produced. I think you're really going to like this. A lot of really interesting stuff. The Audi Carmen. In the early 1970s, Audi, more specifically Carmen, commissioned the world-famous car designer Giorgetto Giugiaro to make a sports car prototype. The Italian car designer set work on something completely new, a four-person, three-door hatchback with a very unusual shape. The project was called Asso di Pice and was finally created in 1973. It was built on the basis of the Audi 80 generation B1, but it's hard to resist the impression that stylists who worked on this prototype were very much inspired by their previous work, a concept called the Boomerang, which was branded with the Maserati logo. Audi Carmen Asso di Pice was presented at the Frankfurt Motor Show in 1973, and it attracted considerable attention. The interior was interestingly designed. The two-spoke steering wheel was equipped with three characteristic wheels, the tube-shaped dashboard with cutout rectangles, and the leather upholstery was a big surprise with panniers in the door panels. Although this model never went to production, it did have a very significant contribution to later cars from the Volkswagen Group. The distinctive rear belt and even the silhouette of Asso di Pice became a benchmark for first-generation Volkswagen Scirocco's. Audi Avis Quattro. In 1991, at the Tokyo Motor Show, Audi presented a futuristic supercar concept that measured only 1,175 millimeters in height at its highest point. The very subdued style of this model was entirely dictated by aerodynamics. You see the almost smooth body with a delicate transition from the front bonnet through the glass roof to the rear cover with a delicate spoiler. The designer of the project was Martin Smith, whose task it was to create a car body capable of accommodating a huge 12-cylinder, 6-liter W12 engine. The centrally located engine produced 509 horsepower and 540 Nm of torque, which in combination with the Quattro drive and a 6-speed manual transmission provided the car with acceleration of 0 to 100 km an hour in just 2.8 seconds. At 6.5 seconds, the Audi Avis Quattro accelerated to 160 km an hour, and the speedometer pointer only stopped at 340 km an hour. These are the data that was provided by Audi, because only one copy of this concept was created and it never went into production. It was completely different with the power unit. The W12 motor was used in the Audi A8 and then the Volkswagen Phaeton, Touareg, and even the Bentley Continental, which under the hood with two turbochargers still runs today. Avis also announced the strategy of Audi Space Frame, i.e. the use of aluminum in the construction of car bodies. Audi Quattro Spyder. Despite the fact that the Audi Quattro Spyder was officially unveiled in 1991 at the Frankfurt Motor Show, even after 2 decades, it still looks good. The two-seat coupe features a very delicate and neat design with discrete headlines and slowly falling delicate roofline. Interestingly, this concept was equipped with a transparent roof panel that could be removed to create a Targa-type vehicle. Under the hood of the Audi Quattro Spyder, a naturally aspirated 2.8-liter V6 engine producing 174 horsepower and 245 Nm of torque. That engine was then used under the bonnet of many cars from the VAG group with the designation VR6. Thanks to the aluminum body structure, a curb weight of just 1,100 kilograms was achieved, and with such a power-to-weight ratio, a car with Quattro drive and manual transmission would provide a whole lot of driving fun. Unfortunately, the Quattro Spyder never went into production. Audi Rosemeyer. At the turn of the millennium, Audi decided to pay homage to legendary racing vehicles from the 1930s, with silver arrows bearing the Auto Union logo. It was based on their appearance that the Rosemeyer concept was stylized. The characteristic front grille directly referred to its predecessors, just like the color of the body and the interior, in which the most characteristic element is the huge 4-spoke steering wheel, partly made of aluminum. The two-door coupe was to be driven by a centrally located engine, and not just any engine. Behind the driver and passengers' back, there was an 8-liter W16 unit known to all fans of fast cars. This engine generated 630 horsepower and 761 Nm of torque. In combination with a 6-speed manual transmission and Quattro drive, this provided acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.8 seconds and a top speed of 350 kilometers an hour. For the first time, Audi Rosemeyer was presented in 2000 and appeared as a show car at many automotive events. Later, the 16-cylinder engine got 4 turbochargers and went to the Bugatti Veyron. Audi Steppenwolf. The rapid development of sports and utility cars in the 1990s and their growing popularity on the European market tempted Audi engineers to start work on a concept that could be defined as an attempt to create an off-road version of the Audi TT. Why this model? At the time, the TT was one of the most recognizable cars on the road, at the same time, one of the boldest stylistically. It all began with a PQ34 floor plate and a Quattro drive system with an electronically controlled Haldex differential. In addition, it was decided to add an electronic EDL differential lock that worked with the ESP system. The suspension was literally shifted from the first-generation Audi All-Road, and thanks to pneumatics, the Concept was equipped with an adjustable ground clearance, which depending on the setting ranged from 60 to 223 millimeters. Stylistically, it's really an inflated TT with the characteristic headlights. The rear lights are very similar to those of the Audi A6 Generation C5. Inside, there's wood, which harmonizes perfectly with aluminum inserts and black leather upholstery. To all this, there was a long gear shift with a huge knob, an audio system from Bose, and an opening roof. Under the hood, a naturally aspirated 3.2-liter V6 with 225 horsepower. The Concept debuted at the Paris Fair in 2001. Audi Shooting Brake. Audi brought a very interesting, in terms of time, prototype 3-door hatchback to Tokyo in 2005. It would seem that the Concept would be a preview of a new vehicle, completely independent in the range of the German manufacturer. Nothing could be more wrong. This is a 3-door hatchback, which in many respects resembles the Volvo C30. But in the case of Audi, as the name suggests, it can be described as a hybrid of a 2-door coupe and a station wagon. Just a quick glance at the silhouette and you'll notice a lot of similarities to the second-generation Audi TT. Just a year later, Audi revealed the appearance of this model, and everyone was surprised, because apart from the roofline and incredibly fine details such as the clock and the central outlet nozzle of the air conditioning, the TT is no different from the Concept in Tokyo. Audi R8 V12 TDI. Over the past several years, diesel engines have developed significantly, which can be seen even after many new premium cars such as the Audi A6 are sold with diesel engines under the hood. In 2008, Audi presented a conceptual version of the R8 model powered by a diesel engine. Behind the driver and passenger's back was located a double-charged 6-liter V12 TDI engine producing 500 horsepower and up to 1,000 Nm of torque. Interestingly, in this case, the torque had to be electronically limited, because even Quattro 4-wheel drive would not be able to effectively use additional Newton meters. The Audi R8 V12 TDI accelerated from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.2 seconds and reached a top speed close to 300 kilometers an hour. So the top 100 was faster than the standard version powered by gasoline V8. Unfortunately, despite the optimistic information, the car never appeared in showrooms. The V12 TDI with 500 horsepower later was used under the hood of the Q7, the largest SUV from Ingolstadt. Audi Quattro Concept 2010. Exactly 30 years after the original Audi Quattro was presented in 1980, the German manufacturer unveiled this concept that was its successor at the Paris Motor Show in 2010. Engineers used components from the RS5 model and created a completely new body, referring to its legendary predecessor. The character of the car is emphasized by substantial air intakes and a single-frame grille without a chrome frame. The body seems quite short, but the 1980 Quattro was not a big car either. Attention is drawn to the rear belt with 2 rectangular lights made of LEDs, between which is the model name. On the back, we also find a spoiler and a diffuser made of carbon fiber. Minimalism, ubiquitous leather, and a digital clock panel in the interior. The air conditioning control console is similar to the one used later on the A3 model. Under the hood of the Concept, there's a 2.5-liter 5-cylinder turbocharged unit with TTRS. But here it produces 408 horsepower and 480 Nm of torque, which means that the Audi Quattro Concept 2010 accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 3.9 seconds.